Honorable Minister Nizambe, Excellencies, Mr. Manioni, Ms. Morgan, esteemed Chief Science Advisors, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. It's an immense pleasure, a privilege for me to be invited to give you a brief set of remarks on our activities on science diplomacy, together with our partners here in South Africa. You heard it from Ms. Morgan. My day job is to lead the ETH Domain in Switzerland. It's the Swiss Federal University System. It includes the two technical universities, our small but scientifically strong country has, ETH Zurich and EPFL. We have under the same roof, however, also our four national laboratories, which have mission-oriented, pragmatic, direct missions to accomplish. Having both universities and national laboratories under the same umbrella gives unique synergies which help us address the challenges that our country is facing. However, in the spirit of the theme that we have here, equity-based science, technology, and innovation for inclusive development and global sustainability, I must tell you that we, of course, also have realized that we need to serve not only Swiss society, but society globally. And indeed, we have a responsibility to put our knowledge to the service of all humankind. We have in past invested much energy into cooperating with the many institutions that are active in our country, but have a global reach. The United Nations, or in this slide, the International Committee for the Red Cross, where together with the Red Cross, we identify solutions to the challenge that the Red Cross has, bringing services to people who are most at need in zones of conflict, in refugee camps, people who are among the most vulnerable on our planet. However, today, my main message to you is an encouragement, or even a challenge, to take more of your busy time, not only to think about the challenges of today, but think about the challenges of tomorrow, and to use our knowledge about possible futures to enlighten our decisions today. In other words, use the future to build the present. We all feel that this technology is advancing at a huge rate, that new developments come at an increased pace, and often it is felt that we run after the ball. We are not ready when technology comes. ChatGPT arrives in November 2022, and suddenly everybody realizes, oh my God, we need to deal with AI. Ladies and gentlemen, scientists have been telling us about AI for decades. We knew it would come. We did not know exactly when it would come, but we knew it would come, and we should have taken the time ahead to think about governance. What we propose is a mechanism to have a chance to discuss future potential developments before they are here, so that we can maximize the benefits and minimize the collateral damage. In other words, to be on top of the game rather than running after the ball. Today's aim, the Swiss government, together with the Canton and City of Geneva, have founded GESDA, a small Swiss foundation, with three steps, three goals. First, together with scientists, we try to analyze where is science going, which trends are there, which developments can we expect in the next 5, the next 10, the next 25 years. In a second step, together with policymakers, diplomats, industry leaders, and people from civil society, we then ask ourselves, what would these developments, which scientists say will come our way, what would these developments mean for us as individuals, as a society, as a planet? And in a third step, we try to catalyze activities where like-minded groups of people come together and try to contribute to maximizing the potential benefit of these future developments, or again, try to restrict the potential damage that they might cause when they arrive. So this is what GESDA does. In a nutshell, in an elevator pitch, we try to answer three questions. What? So what? Now what? What might happen in the future? So what would that mean for us all? And now what do we do about this knowledge? Let me stress a few facts about what GESDA is and what GESDA is not, about what we do and what we do not do. First, we're not a policy group, we're not an advocacy group. We generate a radar together with thousands of scientists trying to see which developments might come our way. This is simply a scientific-focused instrument. We do not focus on the opportunities, we do not focus on the risks, we focus simply on the developments that are likely to come based on the current pace of developments. What we are, or what we try to be, is an honest broker. We try then, given these potential developments, to bring the stakeholders together from science, diplomacy, impact, citizen, and come and discuss with them what are the potential consequences, where do we see opportunities, where do we see potential challenges. And finally, we try to be catalysts where like-minded people come together and try to find solutions. Is a big word. We never find solutions. We might find a contribution to a solution, piece of a puzzle, a positive contribution towards maximizing good or minimizing damage. At the beginning of this exercise is a tool that we developed, which we call the GESDA Science Breakthrough Radar. This radar is a collection of expected developments that is curated by over 2,000 scientists from 87 countries from all continents except Antarctica. These scientists answer the question, what do I see in my field of expertise for developments in the next 5, 10, 25 years? 5 years is easy for scientists. When they write a grant, they say at the end of my grant, this is where we want to be. 10 years is more challenging. 25 years, we need to prod, we need to encourage them. It often actually sounds like science fiction, but this is a future that we will all see. These scientists collect their expectations in 29 topics, and then we try to order these by what we call the anticipation potential. For which one of these topics is there a potential great impact for us at the individual, societal, planetary level? And for which of these topics which will have a big impact, is it worthwhile, is it advisable to already have a discussion now? Because with a change, a good decision now will have a strong positive leverage in the future. This obviously is just the start of the discussion, but it provides a series of ideas, of expectations, which then lead to discussions. These discussions, these topics are grouped in 29 groups. As I mentioned, each group then has subtopics, and for each of these subtopics then, again, scientists will have a short summary of what they expect to see in the next 5, 10, or 25 words. It's in prose. It's not quantitative. Thinking about the future is a qualitative science. It is definitely not a quantitative science. Do we know that these things will happen? No. We expect them to happen. Do we know that they will happen 10 years from now? No. Sometimes it happens quicker, sometimes later, sometimes not at all. Some things will happen that we did not see. Black swans will come. But by and large, this is a good fundus, a good start to have discussions about what might happen. Bill Gates famously said, we overestimate technological development over 2 years, and we underestimate over 10 years. You can find all of this data on our website. It's really available to the whole world. And what we hope is that more and more, I encourage you to look at this and to also start discussions based on these things. I find these discussions extremely enlightening. I believe that every leader, every decision maker should have these topics on his or her radar. Sorry for the pun. Now again, the radar is just the start of discussions. Much more needs to be done. Here are some of the other services or products we have developed. The first thing we realized is that we need to also encourage citizens to think about the future. They are the ones who at the end need to make the decisions. We have at the World Exposition in Osaka now what we call the anticipation portal. We ask people, are you interested in about the future? What future do you want? It's actually very interesting to ask people from all over the world, which topics interest you? What is your vision of the future? Is it a joyful one? Is it an angry one? Is it a scary one? So that we have an idea what do people mean. We're extending the radar with AI to make it even more knowledgeable, to also include legislative, regulatory information, and we realize that we also need to train decision makers, diplomats, policymakers to use this anticipation tool. We're here this week in Africa together with our South African colleagues having a week of training so that people who decide learn how to use this anticipation tool, learn how to think about the future to direct and improve the decisions that we make today. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we try to catalyze, again, activities that can help broaden the positive aspects of scientific and technological development. One example is the Open Quantum Institute. Together with CERN, we have generated a place where training is globally available, where compute time on quantum machines is globally available for the SDGs, activities that you can now do, that everybody can do who wants to learn how to use quantum computers and wants to use them for activities which might not be necessarily profit-making in the dollar sense, but will lead to profit for society. Last but not least, we need to bring all these stakeholders together. Once every year in October, we gather in Geneva at the GESDA Summit, where scientists, policymakers, business leaders, civil society come together to discuss the next initiatives, the next challenges that we see. The next meeting will be in mid-October. I know that many of you are already coming. A warm invitation to everybody else. If not this year, please come next year. It's a very stimulating environment to learn how to use the thinking about the future to make better decisions today. I close by summarizing the key takeaways. Ladies and gentlemen, things are moving today even faster than yesterday, and the world has become even more complicated today than it was yesterday. There's an even greater urgency today to use anticipatory science diplomacy, to use the tools of thinking about potential future developments to guide the decisions that we together take today. And in this sense, I thank you for your attention, and I look forward to the further discussions this afternoon. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.